Is
ban
it true?
on Echo.
That's a Hanzo ban.
Interesting.
I was talking about the Brody.
Wait.
Blacklist bans it out. Folks, in case you haven't been watching, in the MDL there has been a roaming Hanzo.
Correct.
Left roughshod. It won their game in its debut match yesterday. So something is afoot here.
They're doing their assignments right here for Blacklist International. They don't want a scary guy out, especially being the roam.
One step ahead right now, and there it is, the
Faramis.
Faramis, the answer, as Leo puts it, an answer relatively to the glue, to the mini glues of glue. But now for the last two picks, we might see something along the lines of a Beatrix if they want a little bit more wave clear in the lineup for the side of Echo. Maybe they can go for something like the Claude also, because you'd want to pair up the Claude up against the members of Blacklist that have the Faramis with them. And right now we're seeing an Atlas hovered in, which would be a great roamer pick, and which would mean that the members of Blacklist International have to adjust their battle spells and pick up more Purifies.
Yeah, the Atlas and the Claude would totally be a good sense for this draft of Echo, because mostly it's more on the protect the competition of Blacklist right now. So they could either pick Beatrix.
There it is.
With this, the combo that you're expecting for the Storm.
Ye old faithful. I mean, don't fix what's not broken, right? And I love how Coach Tick, Coach Treb found that the Atlas was still open. It's going to make life very, very difficult for Red. He has to consider when I use the Inspire, because I haven't really seen a Moskov with Purify. The Moskovs that work, they don't use Purify, so he's in extra danger.
Yeah, and this last pick for Blacklist will need to be someone who can provide a lot of peel. They might even pick up something like an Akai just to make sure you have a heavy spin with you. But nope, it's a Granger in the jungle for Wise. We're calling back to picks from long ago.
This is Blacklist just leaning in hard. They have to win quick and fast if they're going to make this work.
This is a big question on how Blacklist would answer against the world champs themselves. It's the first match of the day, and our smart talent predictions are up. There's no surprise that all of us are voting for the Orcas. Echo for the first match of the day. And at some point in the game, a poll will show up. You only have until the timer runs out to comment your prediction with the hashtag SmartPowers MPL Season 11. One like commenter who guesses correctly will win a redeemable in-game code. Remember, keep an eye on the poll.
Isn't this poetic? We see Echo as the champions draft a lineup that is just completely fundamental. It makes sense, right? And then Blacklist with their new code is just rocking all damage. I'm seeing very little peel. If anything, it's just the Lapu-Lapu.
Yep, peel is what they're gonna need. This Moskov is gonna be put into overtime. He's gonna need to work. And now as we go into the game, loading it up, how will this Blacklist International lineup fare against the world champions? It's world champs versus the MPL Philippines champs.
I feel the screams, I hear the drums. This is something new for the first day of MPL.
Check out Wise, already clearing his purple, moving up to the orange. Same story, but backwards for Carl Atizi. This is interesting. Given that Blacklist, again, has very little peel, they make very little moves on the river this early. Little Wonder clearly goes to Echo.
Yeah, and now they're going to be taking things slowly, but a lot of poke in the mid lane. Very classic. Is anyone going to be able to force a battle spell? Doesn't look like it.
Yeah, it's all about the resources early on for Echo and Blacklist. As you've mentioned, they need more damage heading up to mid-game. But how will they balance it if no one is taking risks as of now? This is a different Echo that we're about to see. More of the not aggressive play. Now it's a different, more cautious approach against Blacklist.
Yeah, still very early on though. They don't need to be aggressive. Well, when the turtle's up, they can be aggressive, but they just have to be careful and catch out Wise, because if they miscalculate crowd control and entry, Wise will just be able to rondo on out of there and hurt Echo from afar.
I think Blacklist figured that out and they know their tempo, and the fact that nothing has gone wrong yet in the first 2 minutes is a good deal.
Yeah.
It's a good deal for both teams.
They have eye on what's important right now if they are Echo, but meanwhile we have two members here up top eyeing on Edward, Agent Zero. And also, Yue is back onto the rotation up top, but this is Echo setting up the first turtle fight of the game.
Yeah, and it's not going to be a fight as expected when you have a lineup that has a tanky jungler against a lineup with a marksman jungler. The tanky jungler lineup will be able to get the first turtle, maybe even the second turtle without a hitch.
Yeah, they're not erasing it. They're not erasing it too early on if Blacklist is concerned with their damage.
So far, we're seeing an early rotation here by Yaoi. Again, that's one of the things you buy as a Moskov. Benny Cutie, though, with that Renner shot timed well.
Perfect.
I was going to say, as a Moskov, if the opponent has no roamer with them, if your lane mate has no roamer with them, you're likely going to win because you have that CC.
Yeah.
Moskov is one of the few marksmen that have reliable CC. Sanford spots out Wise and Yue. Left to have health, forcing out the split. Here comes Carl Teasy, securing that Little Wanderer.
Yeah.
And now we're seeing with the rotations of the roamers, because Blacklist International has a marksman roamer, Oh My Venus has to spend a lot of time in the center of the map, not really able to help Super Red. Super Red has to play way more back because Yaoi is able to help Super Red more.
Fatal Links put into the range of that feathered airstrike, but survives off of the altar. Super Red, 1 HP, pushing back. Oh My Venus, the queen, saves the rookie.
Yeah, that's how they dictate fights against Echo right now. They're forcing everybody to use resources. Sanji receives some pokes from Oh My Venus, but Echo there is receiving some damage. And that's how you want to do it.
Carl Teasy lighting up Wise. It's a 2v1. Wise obliges. Benny Cutie with the Renner shot, leaving Wise with just some thoughts to think about. How did I survive that? And still, no dice. No one goes down unless Oh My Venus caught with a frigid breath. Carl Teasy gonna drop first blood. Oh, they're not done.
They're not stopping it.
Caught one. The last salvo. Super Red survives once more.
And right now, Echo, they up the tempo at the perfect time. And now Carl Teasy, not going to be able to steal that purple buff away, but this is what you need to do up against a lineup that has two strong late game carries. Around minute 4, make the play. Dive somewhere, preferably the gold lane. Pressure the opposing jungler to delay the farming a little bit more. Echo is ticking all the boxes they need to tick in this game so far.
That's the checklist. That's the checklist for the Orcas, for the power predictions. Who will get more kills in this game? Super Red or Benny Cutie? Comment down your answer with the hashtag SmartPowers MPL S11.
Oh, Edward.
First turtle fight.
Forces out a feathered airstrike. Oh, that's a Fatal Links canceled out, but he does pick up a shield for Yaoi to survive. The playmaker walks out with his life, but check down bottom lane. Benny Cutie doing work.
That's turtle, and that's a push. This is Echo hearing the drums from behind. They're not risking for Blacklist International. The AoE burst is too high.
Oh! Fatal Links onto Oh My Venus. Does not survive. Serves up the kill to Benny Cutie.
Echo, man, looks like they haven't missed a step since Jakarta, and now Wise and you in trouble in the mid lane.
Oh, diving underneath tier 1. Wise down to 0 health. Carl Teasy gets one. Super Red puts him up against the wall. Can the best in the world survive? He does. Super Red, not enough damage quite yet. Yue jumping in. Edward from the flank. Sanji takes down Super Red. An assist from Benny Cutie. Sanji traded out though. Edward gets him down. Sanford 3v1. Can he survive? Dashes on now with the grab.
Now Blacklist able to get a kill back there. They needed to get something back. But now this is the time for Blacklist to position themselves a little bit better in the map, a little bit more advanced if they can, to get more information, because right now Yaoi is beating them to the punch in positioning. 3 times now he's positioned perfectly behind the enemy lines, behind Blacklist International, and caught Blacklist with their pants down.
How will you give vision for Blacklist right now? Will it be Edward? Will it be Oh My Venus? The damage out of Sanji bursting down onto feathered airstrike. Are they doing something? Is this something? No, not yet. They're still holding it off.
An initial salvo to set the tempo. Edward going on ahead and using those iframes to jump out of the Fatal Links. Carl Teasy and Wise playing footsies behind tier 2. That tier 1 turret's not going to go down. Benny Cutie gets another one up top.
And that's a push for the Orcas against the Code Breakers. What's the call now if you're Blacklist?
And now if you're Blacklist International, you're either going to be waiting and just going for potential turtle steals. You can't be the one initiating it because you're going to get caught off guard. Or you're really just going to give it to Echo and just wait until Echo makes a mistake with the upcoming pushes or attempts to further their lead with team fight plays. No contest by Blacklist International. Echo are going to be riding happy for the next 2 minutes, 3 minutes if they don't make a mistake.
Fellas, we're looking at about a 5,000 gold lead at 7 minutes. I'm guessing the items are a lot of...
Whoa!
The playmaker! I wasn't done! But neither are Echo! They take down Oh My Venus. Double kill for Betty Cutie. Edward getting on out of dodge. Sanford with a split, pushing them back. Happy with what they got. 2 for none so far, and they're converting like madmen.
Yowie from out of nowhere! Yowie from out of nowhere!
Not wasting a millisecond to flicker in and use that ultimate. Just how you manage to get Blacklist all 4 members in the mid lane.
And now they're pushing it further. Yue doesn't get anyone though.
Oh My Venus attempts one, doesn't find it. Yue also with his own fatal links, no one home. Carltesi and Edward bombs away for Benny Cutie, pushing back Blacklist International in their own jungle on their own side of the map. Benny takes out another turret down bottom. Only 2 outer turrets left for Blacklist International.
Echo is clearly setting up a borderline for Blacklist International. They're hungry for objectives. They're hungry for that jungle creeps. But how do you manage to go out? The only way to hold the defenses is Oh My Venus or even Edward. But that sacrifices a lot. Even looking at the items, it's not enough against Echo.
Yeah, there's already a Malefic Roar and a BOD on the Beatrix for the side of Echo. Edward in trouble though.
Agent Zero survives, but just barely. This turret up top, its days are numbered. I'm wondering, Renmar, where does Blacklist find farm? It's so hard to be Blacklist right now.
In their own base. On their own towers when the minion waves are close to it. That's the only way they can farm right now because Echo can just freely go into their jungle without a problem. But there's a problem for Venus.
Look at that.
Doesn't even get a cult altar up. That's a pickoff down.
Yay!
Bottom go. The playmaker finds Wise, serving it up to Benny Cutie as they make a beeline for the Lord.
That's 2 down, opening up another major objective for Echo. 7.2k gold advance. How do you manage to pull this off with your Blacklist? The mindset right now of Super Red is I need the minions, I need the push. But this separates a lot. There's nothing to take if you're Blacklist right now.
Nothing at all. Echo can just ride this comfortably, play disciplined, and play their cards right. They cannot make any of those sour plays. They are hitting all the marks perfectly so far. They just need to continue that. Their marksman already has that Malefic Roar, as I mentioned earlier. As Blacklist builds defense items, that Beatrix is still gonna hurt.
Yeah. Talking about physical penetration, and you have glue on your side in the hands of Sanford. How do you manage to have a security for your own marksman? Super Ed and Wise, they're really thin on defenses.
It's double jeopardy. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. Do I build that steel leg plate? Do I build the Athena's shield against Sanji? It's so difficult to consider how to find farm and what to even spend it on.
Yeah.
This is what people are fearing right now against the lineup with quick scaling, a tanky jungler, and the Farsa. Again, why the Farsa is so good lately, because of how fast you can scale if you snowball really well. Look at that!
Wise down to 1/4 of his health. Look at those waves, masterfully orchestrated, crashing straight into Blacklist's territory. Now Lord up top. The shield on this turret is still here. It's going to help clear the waves, but Blacklist making easy work. They're still here. They're still breathing. Carltesi and the rest of Echo knocking down on their door. Can they get it? Oh My Venus. But no, Fatal Link serving it up. Betty Cutie unstoppable. Another shield pop down bottom. Edward doing his best. Blacklist still breathing, still here. They clear out the waves.
Right now, Blacklist has a bit of hope with that wave clear, but that doesn't give time to even hold the line. By just the poke of the ultimate of Sanji, just like this, it connects.
Oh my goodness!
Benny!
The Renner shot takes down Wise, and now down goes the inhibitor in mid as well. Cause gets a taunt, and they go ahead in your face. Gets double for Benny. It's just you left. Echo is going to take this inhibitor up top. It's just a matter of seconds, moments before Echo take down the base. They have just but one minion. Here's another wave.
Are they risking it?
Oh, Fatal Links make sure the unit goes down. Echo takes game 1.
Man, oh man,